Hello, and welcome back to the History of series. Today we shall be adding to the archive the Zygons, natives of the planet Zygor, with the ability to shapeshift their entire form. So, what's their history? Let's find out. The Zygons joined Rassilon in the alliance of races against the Hyperions. After they were defeated, the alliance then went on to purge the universe of other threats to universal harmony, one of these being Count Diff of the Cybok Imperium. According to one account, the Zygons were originally at war with the Zeranti. During this war, both the Zygon homeworld Zygor and the Zeranti home planet were destroyed. Another account, given by the Zygon Broton in the 20th century, said his world was destroyed in a recent catastrophe. Another account, given by Elizabeth I in 1562, states that their planet burnt in the first days of the last Great Time War. Most accounts indeed agreed with this, stating that the planet was lost to the Time War like much of the universe. No matter the cause, the refugees created a fleet, and the ship on Earth was contacted. In 102 CE, the Zygons were among the races who joined the Pandorica alliance at Stonehenge. They came to Stonehenge and helped imprison the 11th Doctor in the Pandorica to try and save the universe. At some point before the 12th century, a Zygon ship was damaged and forced to land on Earth near the Devil's Punch Bowl in Scotland. They had a Scaracen with them, which, though still an infant at that point, provided them with the lactic fluid they needed to survive. Over the next 400 years, people around the area slowly went missing. A rogue Zygon hive of the Underwave was caught in a time eddy and crash-landed in 1562. They were investigated by the 10th Doctor, with one of them impersonating Elizabeth I. After the real Elizabeth killed her impersonator, their commander, the Zygons implanted themselves into stasis cubes, planning to wait until the planet was more suitable for conquest. In the late 19th century, a Zygon became a member of a travelling freak show and later impersonated Queen Victoria. A Zygon ship was trapped under where the Savoy Hotel would be built. During the grand opening in 1890, Zygons replaced half of the staff, but the 11th Doctor, Amy Pond and Rory Williams stopped them. The 8th Doctor, Sam Jones and George Lightfoot, encountered a group of Zygons in London 1894 underneath the River Thames. They had hundreds of Scaracen fed using dug-up recently deceased bodies. Another ship from Zygor arrived on Earth in 1909. Though they had 2 Scaracen, their minds were damaged by the solar radiation during the destruction of Zygor. One was killed during repairs. Though the Zygons attempted to conquer the Earth anyway, starvation and the 10th Doctor forced them to abandon their plans. In the 20th century, a Zygon spaceship landed in Brentford Quarry. The Zygons of the Devil's Punch Bowl decided to take over Earth and physically adapt it to an environment more suited to their species. Unit and the 4th Doctor stopped them, freeing the Scaracen. In 1981, Unit had to deal with the remnants of the previous invasion, the Zygons numbering over 100. In 1984, the 8th Doctor and Lucy Miller encountered a Zygon who was impersonating her Aunt Patricia's husband, Trevor. After Patricia died, the Zygon assumed her form in her honour. In December 1985, a Zygon landed in Antarctica near Unit Arctic Base Skywatch 7. Several people stationed there were killed, but the survivors were able to drive the Zygon into the icy water, where it perished. Circa 1999, a Zygon invasion of Earth was prevented by UN military advisor Guy Dean. In the late 20th and early 21st century, the Zygons Torlakh and Kritakh were deployed on Earth, where they took the forms of Bob Calhoun and Michael Kirkwood, respectively. They then travelled to nuclear power plants around the world, so that 70 years later the planet would be more suited to their species, and they could hand it over to an invasion force. This plan backfired when Kritakh began to believe he was actually Michael Kirkwood, and began to see a psychiatrist about his dreams of being an alien. His doctor, Lauren Anderson, was turned into a Zygon by Torlakh, and she went to see him again. However, she decided to help Michael stop Torlakh. They put the real Bob Calhoun and Michael Kirkwood in the hospital, and Torlakh left to continue his life on the run. Lauren, however, was also forced to live on the run, as Torlakh had killed many of her co-workers at the hospital. She left, but not until after she killed him while he was in her form. In 2008, the 8th Doctor and Lucy Miller again encountered the Zygon, who was impersonating Patricia Ryder. In 2013, the Zygons that were frozen in 1562 woke up from their stasis cubes and infiltrated Unit, gaining access to the technology in the Black Archive. To prevent them from using that technology, Kate Stewart activated the countdown to a nuclear warhead beneath the archive. Before the countdown reached 0, the 10th, 11th and War Doctors temporarily erased the memories of the original Kate, Osgood and McGillop, as well as their Zygon impersonators, causing them to forget whether they were human or Zygon. Both Kates cancelled the detonation, and both sides were able to create a peace treaty where the Zygons would live in secret on Earth. When no one was looking, the Zygon copy of Osgood slipped the original's inhaler back to her. 2 years later, a rebel faction of Zygons, led by Bonnie, began to undermine the ceasefire. Bonnie had taken the form of Clara Oswald and was determined to expose the 20 million Zygons living on Earth and find a land of their own, but this threat was diffused by a contingency developed by the 12th Doctor involving 2 Osgood boxers. With Bonnie taking the place of the Osgood who had been killed by Missy, the Zygon human peace remained stable. In 2019, the box knew that there was a large shapeshifter community present on Earth. 150 years after Kritakh and Torlakh were brought to Earth, the Zygon invasion force was still due to arrive. In 2765, Zygons attempted to melt Earth's polar ice caps, but were stopped by Initech's vigilante laser defense satellites. Circa the early 36th century, a group of Zygons on Ganta 4 infiltrated the New Eden colony so that they could use their spaceship to evade Earth security and invade humanity's homeworld. The plan was defeated by colonist Christopher Shaw, and the Zygons were all killed. Zygons were part of a fleet of aliens whose threat to destroy Earth was opposed by a legendary legion assembled by the 4th Doctor. On Shantar, the Zygon warlords Anktra and Kestrel fought a duel using a variety of host bodies. The 4th Doctor and Leela ended the duel by freeing the host creatures which the Zygons were mimicking. The Tremas Master, using the power of the planet Cyrilos, transported some Zygons and other adversaries to the Doctor's TARDIS to stop the Graak from saving the imprisoned 7 incarnations of the Doctor. The Divine Empress had Zygons under her command. A yellow Zygon was present at Garage 10. The 9th Doctor defeated a Zygon who took the form of Rosa's grandmother. He then broke its body print technology. In an alternate timeline created by the Black Guardian, where the 1st Doctor remained on Gallifrey and became Lord President, the Zygons were one of many races that invaded Earth and fought over the planet against Silurians and Sea Devils. This timeline was negated when the 7th Doctor retrieved the key to time. In an alternate dimension in which the Doctor's adventures existed as a fictional TV show called Doctor Who, a fan dressed as a Zygon was present at a Doctor Who convention, which the 11th Doctor visited with Ali in 2013. And that is the story of the Zygons, an interesting species that always seems to be on the back foot. The Zygons are actually completely white in their natural state, and reproduce asexually. To create a warrior caste, they removed their reproductive ability, causing them to turn orange and become more aggressive, explaining why those waiting in Scotland didn't just simply reproduce and take over the Earth that way. But anyway guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, then consider leaving a like and subscribing down below, as it really helps out the channel. But, as always, make sure your shed's locked, and thanks for watching.